Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are studying well. So children, remember in our previous class we have done something called the active and passive voice. So now we are going to do this concept in more detail in this chapter. So hello kids, you know voice is a form of verb that shows the relation of the subject of the action denoted by the verb. There are two types of voices, active voice and passive voice. मतलब voice क्या होता है? It is a form of verb. वो एक verb होता है जो subject और action का relation denote करता है. Okay? Like, अब there are two types. One is active and one is passive type of voice. Okay? So like, the farmer is plowing the field. This is active. So at present, farmer is plowing the field. The field is being plowed by the farmer. तो ये बन जाता है passive voice. Okay? He grows different crops in the fields. Okay? Active voice. Different crops are grown by him in his fields. This is a passive voice. So now, what is an active voice? When the subject of a sentence is the doer of the action. जब subject action कर रहा है तो वो बन जाता है active voice. The sentence is said to be in the active voice, okay, like sentence 1 and 3. Now, passive voice कब बनता है? When the subject of a sentence is not the doer but the receiver of the action. अब subject होता है receiver of the action. Okay, the sentence is said to be in the passive voice. वो बन जाता है object और object बन जाता है subject. Clear? Now, note, only transitive verbs have either active voice or passive voice. Intransitive verbs have no passive voice. Okay, transitive verbs क्या होते हैं? उसमें हमें object की ज़रूरत होती है to make a sense of the sentence, to complete the sentence. Intransitive verbs can make sense by themselves. Okay, now let's look at the use of passive voice. The passive voice form is used when the focus is on the action and not on the doer of the action. Okay, now more than 50% of Indians are employed in agriculture. Garden fresh fruits are sold here. So passive voice में we focus on the action. Action पे focus होता है. Action कौन कर रहा है उस पे focus नहीं होता है. Okay, when we talk about more than 50% of Indians are employed in agriculture. Garden fresh fruits are sold here. Okay. We do not know who the doer is. तो हमें doer के बारे में कोई information नहीं. The purse of the old woman was stolen. This sounds better than someone has stolen her purse, isn't it? Woolen clothes are worn in winter. So there is no particular doer of the action here. We talk of a system or process when we talk about a system or process. Milk is sold by the liter. English is spoken all over the world. Okay. Now, we write newspaper headlines and notices at public places. In such cases, the be verb is omitted as the language has to be abbreviated. For example, a number of sportspersons honored by the PM were honored by the PM. So, were honored by the PM. Smoking prohibited here. That means smoking is prohibited here. Clear? We describe changes that have taken place. My office looks completely different. The whole place has been painted. Now, the field looks quite clean. It has been thoroughly moved. Okay? Now, let's look at how we change active voice into passive voice. When we convert active voice into passive voice, the object of the verb becomes the subject and the subject becomes the object. Okay? Kavita gave a book to Sonia. ये होता है active में. अब passive में बन जाएगा Sonia was given a book by Kavita. Now let's look at change of pronouns. If the subject or object in the sentence in active voice is a pronoun, okay, it changes its form as shown in the table. I becomes me as an object, she, her. We, us, they, them. You, it, and he, him. Okay. Now, Kavita, Sonia, active voice. Sonia, Kavita becomes passive voice. Clear? The main verb in the active voice is changed to its passive form by the be verb, okay, which is is, are, was, were plus past participle. The kind of the be verb depends on the new subject of the sentence and the tense. In the example above, the new subject is Sonia, which is in the third person singular number. The tense of the sentence is in the simple past. Okay, when we are saying Kavita gave a book to Sonia, ये simple past tense है. Therefore, in the passive voice, the sentence becomes Sonia was given a book by Kavita. Okay, now let's look at how the changes in tenses happens. Okay, if it is a simple tense, okay, the table given below shows the changes in tense while changing active voice into passive voice. Now, if it is in simple present tense, active voice banega. If it is he eats a mango, passive banega. A mango is eaten by him. Present continuous, he is eating a mango. A mango is being eaten by him. Present perfect, he has eaten a mango. A mango has been eaten by him. Simple past, he ate a mango. A mango was eaten by him. Past continuous, he was eating a mango. A mango was being eaten by him. Past perfect, he had eaten a mango. A mango had been eaten by him. Future tense, he will eat a mango. A mango will be eaten by him. Okay, now we use the word by before the new object after converting a sentence into passive voice. The students were taught by the teacher. Okay, अगर इसका active होगा तो क्या होगा? The teacher taught the students. अब इसको हम change करें, the students were taught by the teacher. If a sentence in active voice has a modal verb, the verb changes into passive voice as the modal plus be plus past participle of the verb. We should obey the laws of the country. Direct हो गया. Indirect, the laws of the country should be obeyed. Sometimes there are two objects in a sentence of active voice, the direct object and the indirect object. Okay, for example, my brother told me an interesting joke. Okay, so indirect object told me. Okay, direct object क्या था? Interesting joke. Now, in such cases, passive form can be made in two ways. An interesting joke was told to me by my brother, or I was told an interesting joke by my brother. Okay, तो ये दोनों forms हम लोग these are both the ways और ये दोनों correct है. Situations when the use of by becomes unnecessary in passive voice. When it is more important to emphasize the action rather than the doer of the action. Okay, तो action पे जब हम ज़्यादा focus करते, okay, and not the doer of the action, okay, we can, by becomes unnecessary. The injured people were taken to the hospital. Here, by whom is not needed, okay. The action is more important. The action of taking the injured people to the hospital is more important. The orders of the PM were circulated through all channels on TV. By whom is not important. Clear? When the doer of the action, okay, that is the subject, is unknown. During the Second World War, thousands of soldiers were killed. Hundreds of passengers were injured in the rail accident. Okay, third is when the doer of the action represents a large group of different individuals. Sugar cane is grown in Uttar Pradesh on large scale. A lot of tea is grown in Assam. Now, यहाँ पे आप देखोगे the doer of the action represents a large group of different individuals. मतलब बहुत सारा शुगर केन उत्तर प्रदेश में, मतलब इट इज सेइंग दैट शुगर केन इज ग्रोन इन उत्तर प्रदेश इन लार्ज स्केल, मतलब बहुत ऊंचे क्वांटिटी में शुगर केन इज ग्रोन इन उत्तर प्रदेश. ओके, लॉट ऑफ टी, मतलब बहुत सारे, मतलब चाय के बागान है इन आसाम. व्हेन द डूअर ऑफ द एक्शन इज ऑब्वियस, ओके, आवर ट्रेन टिकट्स वर ऑलरेडी checked. Okay, so we know it is obvious. Who checks the tickets? TTE. By the TTE. This water line was recently repaired. So, we know who repairs the water lines? The plumber. Okay. Remember, only those sentences of active voice can be changed into passive voice which have transitive verbs and therefore have objects. So this is a basic rule you should always know. Change the voice of the verb from active to passive in the following sentences and rewrite them. A mother loves her child. A child is always loved by his mother or by her mother. Okay. Rabindranath Tagore wrote the Gitanjali. The Gitanjali was wrote by Rabindranath Tagore. Okay. Aryabhatta invented the number 0. The number 0 was invented by Aryabhatta. Okay. Now quickly do the remaining ones. Now fill in the blanks with passive form of the verbs given in the brackets or as directed further. Fire could dash with the fire brigade. Fire could be controlled with the fire brigade. Okay. The absentees should not be excused. The clown was being laughed at by the spectators. Clear? Now quickly finish the remaining ones. Now rewrite the following passage in the passive voice. Someone broke into the Central Museum last night. Okay. So now you have to read this entire passage and then change the entire passage into a passive voice as though you are writing an article for a newspaper and you are telling them about whatever the incident has happened at the museum. Alright. So this is what you have to do. Now I'll read out the passage for you, but you have to change it to the passive voice. Someone broke into the Central Museum last night. The thieves have broken the alarm system before they climbed through a window. They stole some priceless works of art. They used a red convertible to escape. The police have rounded up and questioned some suspects. They haven't been able to catch the thieves yet. Okay, so you have to change this passage now. Alright, now change the following sentences into active voice. You are requested to give me your book. Okay, please give me your book. Where was my pen kept by you? Where did you keep my pen? What was said by him? What did he say? Clear? Now, likewise, quickly change the remaining ones. It's pretty easy, but do not forget to revise the chapter and reread the chapter in detail before you attempt the exercises.